Hello everybody and welcome back to M&J Games. I am Michael and today we're looking at a beautiful park called Westworld by Sergifont, and this is actually created on the PC, and I want to ahead of time apologize if there are any snappy movements with the camera because I am really bad at trying to control the mouse and the keyboard at the same time. I'm used to a controller. So yeah, I apologize ahead of time for that, but as you can see as we're walking through the entrance, the quick description of this park says, "Hello everyone, welcome to Westworld. Westworld is a western park where you can find a lot of rides for all of the different ages. We'd like you to have fun with our thrilling rides, and we will try to make our best for you to have an amazing day with our family and friends in Westworld." Now this park was inspired by Theme Park Worldwide, and you can definitely get a glimpse of that with these entrance buildings right here. And so what I end up doing for this video, just so you can kind of have an idea of how it's going to play out, is going from coaster to coaster. We're in flip cam, and then after each coaster we'll do an overview of the coaster again with the ride cam, just because like I said I'm bad with camera movements, as you can see right here. But it's a really, just really cool, really well done park. I think there are 9, maybe 10 coasters in this park along with the water ride, and the coasters are really, really well done. And so as we can see is, nice western buildings. Maybe add some fencing here and there, because that's one thing I really am big on. And I mean, really good view of that single rail coaster right there. But I really am big on doing custom fencing and all that different stuff. So I think it just adds a lot to the park. So that was Dirtwood, if I saw the sign correctly. And this is the first coaster, a wooden coaster. And one thing that I do like is you can kind of see that all the stations are similar in design, and the fact that it's all the Western Park. Some of them, definitely need some siding on it, but this is well done. Maybe adding some trim around the wood pieces would just kind of spruce it up a little bit. And so let's go ahead and take a ride on the wooden coaster. So that was Dirtwood, as we can now see, as we are going to be watching kind of the coaster layout from this orbit view. But first of all, what a smooth coaster. That was really, really well done. I think it was a perfect height and the speed, and it just kind of, it almost kind of snakes back in a way. And, the coaster kind of stops a little bit at the top due to where the block section is and so forth. So that's maybe the only thing that I would change is, as you can see, kind of changing positions to get a different view on the coaster. And obviously I was struggling to figure out what did I want to do in this, but no, this is really, really well done. And I like this back view, kind of seeing how the coaster rides. And even in this view, like, my goodness, is it smooth. And I think the only thing I might look at on this coaster is adding a little bit more of the layout after the brake run. But I think the brake run was, or the mid-course brake run was really, really well done, because it comes into the brake run at a good speed and it doesn't just fly through it. And I have that issue sometimes of the coaster coming into this mid-course too fast and pushing through it too fast. So I think that is really well done. Maybe just adding a little bit extra here on the end would help. But either way, great coaster, really good job, really enjoyed that. So now we're going to head on to the next part of the park, And I think the best part about this park as a whole is the coasters and how well done they are. And as you'll kind of see, I think there could be a little bit more of kind of uniqueness with some of the buildings. But this is one part of the park that we're going to get to here in a second that is a little bit more of a different theme. It's almost a little bit more of like a Mexican or Hispanic theme, using kind of the adobe wall pieces and stuff like that, which I think those are the adobe. Nope, those might not be. Those are the Quinn Dynasty, I think. And I forgot to get a glimpse of the name of this coaster, but this is the single rail coaster, and this is one where I would just add some kind of perimeter fencing around this station. But I do like the fact that you're kind of keeping the station similar. So I do like that aspect, and I'll talk to you guys after the coaster. There we go. Well, that was the single rail coaster, and this first drop is awesome. Like, it is a super steep drop, and I like how there's the little traditional turnaround. And the only thing I would say is, I always like trying to determine, are people creating for realism? Are they trying to create a cool design, good stats? It's the only thing is the Cobra roll. You don't really see those on this type of coaster model, as RMC actually hasn't made a Cobra roll on any of their models yet. But I love that little brake run at the end because it's got that little bit of that elevation on it before you get back down to where the station's at. So really, really like that coaster overall. I think at this point I still like the wooden coaster a little bit better. But that is a really well done, compact design. And we got these people that are stuck. We got to save them. And I guess I forgot to save them. But yeah, so as you can see, there are maybe in general, maybe made this park a little bit too big because there's some spaces that aren't filled out that if this was, if you go to normal theme park, there's not really a ton of open space if you think about it. There's so many buildings, but we can see there's a difference in building style right now, which is nice to see. And we can see an invert over there. And for anybody who has seen Theme Park Worldwide series, you'll definitely there's an invert and then a dive coaster, and those you'll definitely get some inspiration from some of the coasters that he made in that series. And so this is called, let's see, On Fire, or did I pronounce it right? On Fire. Wow, I can't. I saw two F's there, and I'm like, wait, what's that supposed to be pronounced as? But yeah, so really cool look from this queue. Just a little bit more detailing. You kind of got a couple of the buildings around. And really cool look as you walk in. The coaster kind of goes over the top. And so I'll talk to you after the coaster. So that was On Fire, and that's the word we're going to go with for the coaster. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I think of the three so far is probably my least favorite, but I do feel like it had a pretty quick pace throughout. I think layout was strong. Other than the non-inverting loop, I probably would have just kept it with a normal loop. But really good visuals, especially while you're off the ride. And now we are heading towards the back area of the park. And I realized this as I edited this together earlier today that I forgot to get a POV of the kids coaster here. But it's a junior coaster, so I'm assuming pretty basic with the layout. But now we get over here to Breakout, which this is my type of coaster right here. This is the Rage coaster, so it's either a B&M Hyper or Giga. And I think it's actually a Hyper if you look at the stats. But once again, just kind of adding some railings. I like the lights you used, and I like the color scheme for it as well. That was really well done. And for those of you that have watched this channel a lot and know how I talk about coasters, I love hyper coasters because airtime to me is just, there's nothing better on a coaster. And so this had it, but I also like how you form the terrain to the coaster. And so you're kind of going in and out of tunnels. So that's a really good job. And, you've got this turnaround here. So I really, really enjoyed that coaster. I don't think there's really too much more to say other than my awful camera skills at times. It's kind of hard to do the orbit mode and get good views going through these tunnels. But yeah, so far, if you get to this point of the video, what's your favorite coaster been so far? As they've all been really good, as I said, really, really smooth coasters. So in a second, we will move on to the next coaster. So now as we are in the back of the park, and we're going to make the way around to the front, but there's still about 4 or 5 coasters. We can see we've got a mine train sign. And one other thing too, and I don't know if it's just GeForce Now, since that's how I'm having to stream to play the game, or if it's maybe my keyboard with the Mac that I have, but it was very tough to, I even turned down the sensitivity and stuff, but it's very tough to get a consistent speed kind of moving, whether it's in flip cam or normal camera. It seemed to either be going too fast or kind of jerk to a stop. But as you can see here, we've got a dive coaster, and this one is very much modeled after, or at least some of the initial part modeled after, the Theme Park Worldwide coaster, which was really, really well done. And I'll see you guys after to talk about it. Once again, another really well done, really smooth coaster, and I do like how you modeled it after the Theme Park Worldwide's park there, kind of going through the tower. You got a little bit of a dark section, and then you come out of the tower and kind of hang there, and just such a smooth coaster. You've really got talent for coaster buildings, and this is probably my... I still think that that wooden coaster, actually, you know what, that hyper coaster is going to be my favorite so far. And this is right behind it with the wooden coaster. Really well done. And one thing I like about this dive coaster too, which that's a really cool inversion kind of in the tunnel, is that it's a little bit longer than most dive coasters. It's not a super long coaster, but it does have a couple more elements, which is really nice to see. So now as we continue moving on, and once again, this is a really big park. There's some parts where I think they could have done with a little bit more buildings or just a little bit more detailing or some fencing. But you got to kind of, fence off some rides so that guests can't, in theory, kind of get onto the track or where the ride's at. But this is going to be, I think it's an infinity launch coaster. So there's the exit, and it's called, couldn't be a quick glimpse of that. But this is a really cool coaster, cool concept. And I'll see you guys after the coaster. I feel like I'm just repeating myself after every coaster, but just really impressed with the coaster design. Now, I do think that first element there went a little bit quick through, and probably that first, what's that called, Batwing. So maybe the launch was a little bit too quick, but in terms of how smooth the coaster was and stuff, just really well done. Now, part of it as well could have been just the fact that it's such a small coaster train that it just goes a little faster throughout the layout. But this is the Bar Heist and not the Infinity Coaster, and that's some pretty nice hang time there. So one other thing I want to point out too as we continue on in the park, and I pre-recorded this ahead of time, as I might have kind of alluded to, and the reason is since I'm not as good with the keyboard and stuff, just kind of, as I am with the controller and playing on console, I just didn't feel as comfortable trying to voice over while I was going around filming. So that's why maybe there's not as much attention to detail on some things, but it's always kind of harder to pre-record a video and know kind of what to zoom in on. But here's the exit to a ride, and I'm trying to remember what we go to next. We've got a kind of is that a staff room or bathroom area. There's another train station, information booth, and so there is, I said initially maybe a little bit of varying up of buildings, and I was incorrect about that because there are a lot of different styles of building. You kept it all within the Western theme, which is really nice. As I said, maybe just kind of filling out the park just a little bit more. It would be cool to see, some other realism aspects with backstages and stuff like that. But then again, that's just me being selfish and enjoying that aspect of the game. This really you've done a good job in this of really staying true to one true theme, which is really, really tough. And so as we get to see more of the park, it looks like we're heading towards that RMC. Which, gotta love it. Love RMCs. For anybody who hasn't ridden an RMC, you're missing out because those things are absolutely intense. And so this is called Dark Oil, I believe. And I'll see you guys after the coaster. Well, there we go. That was Dark Oil, and that was a really good coaster. There are a couple things I think could have been added in a little bit more. I do think adding in some more of the RMC elements of the kind of really quick pop airtime hills or ejector airtime hills or wave turns. But overall, love the first drop, and that little building on the top is really nice. And then I really enjoyed the inversions. That's a super smooth 0G roll. And especially as you do that barrel roll kind of in the tunnel, it is really well done. So once again, another perfectly smooth coaster. So there's not really much else to say, but this might be my #1 coaster at this point, and that's just because I absolutely love RMCs. So that inversion is really cool, especially with kind of the lava or fire effects there. So really good coaster. So on to the next coaster, which is like, man, how many coasters have we ridden already? Let me think. So we've ridden, so I think that's the 6th one, and not including the kids coaster that I somehow did not get video of. No, that's the 5th coaster. So yeah, on to the next coasters. We're gonna backtrack to kind of the mine train area, and that's a cool little idea right there of having a stall kind of broken, and I don't know if that's to represent kind of just some lawlessness of sometimes in the Wild West, or maybe what aspect that would have been, but that's a cool little detail to add. And there is one of the inversions. I think that's the first inversion for the dive coaster. So you can see, I was zooming in, just like waiting, hoping the coaster would come out from the tunnel, but to no avail. Wah. But once again, just really cool look of the first drop there, and you get some really good visuals. But that's a perfect example of where you could use that don't dive fencing to kind of put up on the edge, or even if you want to do custom fencing, that would really add a lot. And once again, looking at kind of some of the custom buildings here. And one thing that's good about those is it looks like you just have the front portion that's kind of got that elevated wood piece instead of on the back, which that's what you'd see in a real life coaster park. So we have the mine train. So I'll see you guys after the coaster. So now we're going to head to another coaster. I think that mine train was pretty well done. It seemed to kind of almost crawl at the end of the coaster, but honestly, that's how some of them are in real life. But well done, kind of going in and out of the tunnel. And in this one, we've got the Mine Rush. Okay, I was like, wait, did that one say Mine Train too? Gosh, I'm out of it, guys. It's been a long day. But we got Mine Rush, and this one is more one of the like 7 dwarf type coasters. And so as you can see, it's got kind of the rocking to it a little bit. But I hope you guys enjoy this coaster, and we'll talk about it afterwards. Really well done. I think I like that one more than the mine train. I just think those are very unique. I've yet to make one of those in the game, so I should definitely give it a shot. But I know you got to really kind of theme them up. So once again, you had kind of going in and out of the mountain. Maybe adding some more rocks or something just to kind of give it a little bit of detail when it's kind of going in the tunnels and stuff like that. But overall, just really, really well done. And I believe we have. Actually, you know what? I think we might have ridden all the coasters. I think we just have the river rapids left. Yes. So that's where we're going to be kind of walking and heading towards. And there's some really good sight lines with that. And as you can see right here, this is really cool. Whenever you see this at theme parks for the river rapid boat to kind of go by, and you got the water kind of shooting out at it. So that's a really cool view. So really well done with your design of not just the pathing here, but of the river rapids to provide guests that opportunity for that kind of close-up look. You know, even though I say there should be a little bit more kind of buildings kind of filling up some of the space, you did a really good job though of adjusting the terrain and making the terrain not always look flat or the same. And so I really commend you on that, as we are now in the line for the river rapids. So I'll let you guys enjoy the peacefulness that is going for a ride on the river rapids and hearing just the nature sounds and stuff, and we will wrap up the video afterwards. So that was Westworld for you, created by Sergifont on the PC. So the link to the park on the Steam Workshop is in the description below. And as I said, this was created by Sergifont, and he had reached out to me on Discord. So I really appreciate pointing your park and your creation out to me, as I really enjoyed taking a look at it. I think my favorite coaster overall still has to be the RMC. RMCs are just amazing. And then every coaster was good. It's so hard to talk about which ones are the best and rank them, but I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions as well. What park did you guys really enjoy, or what part of the park, what coaster, what stood out to you? So now as we get a quick overview of what it looks like at night, and so everything seems to be lit up consistently, which is nice. And nothing's overly lit up, or I guess is meant to look like a focal viewing point, which is nice that we looked at in the daytime. But yeah, so as I said, that's the park, and I thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button and leave your comments below, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.